Alright guys, time to wrap up tiers 7 through 11. Brent and Dustin with Fantasy Smack Talk here. Before we get into it, once again, feel free to post anything in the forums when we got those contests. And yes, we'll be talking about some rookies. Dustin, hit them with it.
Alright, tier 7 doesn't have any rookies, but they're coming soon. We start with Sidney Rice. He was battling injuries last year. When he came back, played okay, nothing amazing. The quarterback problem was a mess. Yet to be seen who's going to be throwing the ball this year, but he's a great talent. Look for him to be able to get involved in that offense. Moving on, Johnny Knox, averaged almost 19 yards a catch. He's a big play guy. Not going to get a lot of receptions, but still a lot of upside here. He should see decent yardage totals and those long touchdowns. Number 29, we got Steve Smith, Carolina. Rookie throwing him the ball. He's seen a huge decline. He's still a very athletic guy and has the potential, but you just can't put him any higher at this point in his career. At number 30, Mario Manningham. He'd be a lot higher on this list if he was a lock for the starting job out there with the Giants. We think he definitely has the upper hand. Almost 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns last year. It's going to be hard to keep him off the field. We like his upside this year. And rounding out this tier, Santana Moss. The old man was targeted 145 times last year. That's not going to happen this year, but he could still have a decent year. Let's just wait and find out who's going to be throwing him the ball first.
Tier 8, we're finally going to be talking about some rookies, but we're not starting with them. We're starting with Mike Thomas of the Jags. He's the number 1 guy out there, not Mike Sims-Walker. Next, we got a sleeper we really like in Jacoby Ford. Guy has crazy speed. He did have 2 monster games in the middle of the season last year, and we feel that he's going to end up being the starter. The coaches really speak very highly of him out there in Oakland. Time to talk about the rookies. AJ Green's the first one. All-world talent. He's got a rookie throwing the ball, so that does hinder him certainly a little bit. And Julio Jones, again, great talent, but he's got to share it with Roddy White, Tony Gonzalez. Either way, both could be semi-productive, but don't reach on these guys in your fantasy draft. And rounding out this tier is Pierre Garçon. Garçon had a lot of hype going into the year, but as we stated earlier, we really feel that Austin Collie should be the number 2 out there. But if he's not, we got to rank Garçon here for that reason.
Let's take a look at tier 9, and it starts with Jerome Simpson. And this is where you go, who? Yeah, Jerome Simpson. If you're not familiar with him, check out his game log last year and look at how he ended the season. Very impressive, and it looks like he's got a starting job locked up with the Bengals. I know rookie's going to be throwing the ball, but he's still an interesting player. Next, we got Braylon Edwards. 900 yards and 7 touchdowns last year. Not too shabby. We'd be surprised if he's able to match those totals, but wouldn't be surprised if the Jets throw the ball just a little bit more this year with all those talented receivers out there. Moving on, Deion Branch. Nice surprise last year for the Patriots. 61 catches, 6 touchdowns. Tom Brady seemed to like him. They had a nice chemistry going. And the last guy in this tier, at number 40, John Baldwin. Brent absolutely loves this guy. He's going to be starting opposite Bo, it looks like. Rookie receivers we're never really super high on, but this guy does have a lot of talent.
Tier 10, this is our old guy tier, and we're going to start off with Chad Ochocinco or Johnson or whatever he wants to be called now. Regardless, out of all of the receivers that don't necessarily have a home in this tier, we think he's the one that a team will be willing to take a shot on. Next, we have Hines Ward. Mike Wallace is obviously the number 1 guy out there for the Steelers now. Ward will still be somewhat serviceable, however. Next, we have Plexico Burress. Of course, he spent 2 years in the clink. Now he's out looking to get paid. We feel he's going to end up with the Rams or the Eagles. Next, we have Derek Mason. He's a very steady guy, old man, keep trucking along. You're going to get between 800 and 1,000 yards possibly out of him, 5 to 7 touchdowns. You know, very consistent Derek Mason. Then we got Randy Moss. Randy Moss has to be ranked because he's Randy Moss. God knows where this guy's going to end up, though, however. And rounding out this tier is Mike Sims-Walker. Other than 7 touchdowns and the fact that he's fast, there's no real great positive qualities about him, but 7 touchdowns, he's got to be ranked.
Danny Amendola is our first guy in tier 11, our last tier for the wide receivers. It's kind of a poor man's Wes Welker, 85 catches last year. We expect him to have a decent reception total again. Just don't expect a lot of touchdowns. Next, we got Malcolm Floyd, kind of the front runner to win that number 2 wide receiver spot in San Diego. If he wins it, could have some nice value. Moving down, we got Mike Williams, number 1 receiver for Seattle. It's a decent offense out there. He had some good games last year. So look for him to get involved and have a decent season if he can stay healthy. Next, we got Steve Breston. At one point, he was considered one of the best young receivers in the league. If they can just get a quarterback out there that can spread the ball around, maybe Kevin Kolb, which looks like it's possible, this could get Breston back on the fantasy map. Next, we got Mark Clayton. Was having a great year before he got hurt last year. Sam Bradford, we expect to have even better year this year. Clayton could be a big part of that if he can stay healthy this year. Decent gamble in the later rounds. Devon Best is next for Miami. Kind of another possession type receiver, kind of like Amendola. 79 catches last year, 820 yards. We just don't think he has a very high ceiling. We don't expect much more than that, but he's serviceable in PPR leagues. And the last guy that we're going to talk about is Anthony Armstrong. In his rookie year last year, he had just under 900 receiving yards for the Redskins, which is pretty impressive. But the problem here is who's going to throw him the ball.
So that concludes our wide receiver rankings and tiers. Be sure to get into the forums, post your teams. We'll try to grade them for you. Any keeper questions you got, top 100 cheat sheet, games, contests, and we actually got something sneaky going on with those right now. Kind of in the works. Little teaser for you. For Dustin, this is Brett, Fantasy Smack Talk.
Later.